Hello YouTube, it's me again, and today I'm going to shift gears to talk about the presidential race. As you know, for the United States, there's an impending election in November of next year. Yeah, I've been covering the primaries mostly on my site, Ultra Elections. Link will be in the description below. And today I just decided to switch over to the general election mode to just see how it is. And yeah, so the point is, this is the way the electoral map is in this era of politics. There's always a certain amount of states that will vote Democrat no matter what. And there's always a certain amount of states that are going to vote Republican no matter what. So, for example, states like California, Illinois, Michigan, New York, they're always going to vote Democratic unless something happens, something extraordinary happens. But for Republicans, there's states like Texas, Alabama, Kentucky, or Utah that are always going to vote Republicans no matter what. And they voted solidly for Obama or, they either vote for Obama or Romney solidly. And there's a reasonable chance to say that they will vote for whoever the nominees are. And at this point, I don't know who the nominees are going to be. But again, if I were to guess, it would be probably, for the Democrat nominee, it would be Hillary Clinton. But if the election were held right now, the primaries were like yesterday, I would say it would be Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump, and Hillary Clinton would just win. So, if Donald Trump wins, start focusing to 2018 or 2020, whichever you prefer. Because 2018, that's the next midterm. We held in it'll be the first midterm election of whoever wins this election. It's complicated, but it's the way it is. But whoever the nominees are, Democrats, I would say, are guaranteed, if we'll just use the 270 map here, are guaranteed to win 212 electoral votes. Republicans are guaranteed to win 191. These are all the states that, the blue is states that Obama won solidly, comfortably, and the states in red are states that voted for Romney solidly and comfortably, more or less. Some of them. And so right now, I would say the safe Democratic seats are Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Minnesota, Michigan, Illinois, Maryland, D.C., Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Maine. And Republicans, well, they're probably favored to win in Alaska, Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Arkansas, Missouri, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, I think I said, and West Virginia. It's just the way it is. They voted over the party line for years now. Now we get to the competitive states, which could be well, let's talk about New Mexico first. I'm rating that as likely Democratic because it voted for Obama. Yes, it did vote for Obama twice, and it's a trending blue state. But Republicans have 3 Latinos, or in this case, 1 honorary Latino that are running for president on the Republican side. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz are both Latinos, and Jeb Bush has an appeal to the Hispanic vote. So if one of those 3 win, they could turn New Mexico competitive. I would say Ted Cruz would be unlikely to turn New Mexico competitive. I would say Rubio or Bush have a better chance of turning New Mexico competitive. But I'd say right now, given its past voting record, it will probably vote for the Democrat nominee. But again, if Rubio or Bush, or in the unlikely event Cruz, are able to win the nomination, they could compete in New Mexico. I don't know if they would, but hey, that's an extra 5 electoral votes on the table. Okay, now let's talk about the states that are going to be close, but Democrats start out ahead at this point, and that's Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Now, the Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker, and my preferred candidate, is running for president. I am supporting Scott Walker, but I'm saying this as independent and unbiased as I can. I would say that if Scott Walker were to win, he would probably turn Wisconsin out. He would probably make Wisconsin a toss-up state because Wisconsin is a bit of a swingy state. Yeah, it hasn't voted for Republican since I think it was 1984. because of the Reagan landslide. But that's the last time it's voted Republican. It's voted Democrat ever since, across the board. And again, I mean, I would say if Scott Walker were to win the nomination, he would make Wisconsin a toss-up state, given recent statewide polls that show that he's running a pretty close race. Now he's unpopular in Wisconsin, but he would still make it competitive, which is interesting. In Pennsylvania has been voted Republican, I would say probably since the Reagan landslide again, 1984, around the same time. I think Bush the first won it in 1988. I'm not sure, but as well, Democrat since then. It's been competitive. It was competitive in 2000, 2004, and it was competitive in 2012. But Pennsylvania, Obama led consistently. It was close, but he won it. He won it out. And Pennsylvania is pretty electoral rich. Has I think 20 electoral votes. And depending on who the nominee is, they will probably compete in those two states. They could make it competitive depending on who wins. And depending how it goes, it could go into toss-up. I mean, Rand Paul was leading in Pennsylvania in one poll, so he could make it very competitive, I would say. Now, let's switch over to the state that's leaning Republican, which is North Carolina. Now, here's the thing with North Carolina. It did vote for Obama in 2008, but Romney won it in 2012. And in the Senate race, 2014, Tom Tillis won against Kate Hagan. And so it kind of reaffirmed that North Carolina, it's a competitive state, but it will vote Republican, but Republicans have to work for it. They can't take it for granted, because otherwise they will lose it like they did in 2008. So it will probably vote Republican. And Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New Mexico will probably vote Democratic, but it depends on how things go. So if we were going to assign states that we think will go in that certain direction, the Democrats will have 247 electoral votes, and Republicans will have 206 electoral votes. Romney got 206. So this is all the red states are states that vote for Romney will probably, again, vote for the Republican nominee. Now you get to the toss-ups, which is Nevada, Colorado, Iowa, Ohio, Virginia, Florida, and New Hampshire. Now, Democrats have it easier because they won all those states twice. All those states voted for President Obama in 2008, and they voted to re-elect him in 2012. In 2004, Bush won all of them but New Hampshire. In 2000, Bush won, let's see, in 2000, he didn't win Iowa, but he won everything else, I think. Yeah, he won New Hampshire. Yeah, he did win it. He won all the other states. So these bunch of states are kind of like always going to be the central point in the elections. These are the states that you need to win. Now, Iowa was originally leaning Democratic, New Hampshire was originally leaning Democrat, but given the way that things have gone, I would say, in recent statewide polling in those states, I would say that's safe to say that those are now going to be toss-ups. And they were competitive in 2012, but, Obama won both of them he won New Hampshire by 5 and he won Iowa by 6, or something like that. And Democrats, they have the easiest time because according to the Road to 270, Democrats just need Florida, and look what happens. Boom. Democrats hold the White House again. But if Republicans win it, they kind of hold on. So, my home state of Florida, I was born here, that's going to be the key to the entire election. And Republicans almost won Florida in 2012. It was the closest state, but they blew it. Now, granted, if Romney won it, it wouldn't have mattered anyways, because, if he won it, he wouldn't have had 235, and that wouldn't help them. But I actually predicted everything else right in 2012, except I didn't predict Florida right, and it went for Obama at the last minute. So hopefully I'll get it right this time. But again, recent statewide polling suggests it's going to be close. So for Democrats to hold on to win, really, they just need Florida, and then it's over. They don't really need anything else. Provided that they keep Wisconsin in their column, they keep Pennsylvania in their column, and they make sure that none of the other states fall out of their line, particularly New Mexico. Now, for Republicans, there's a number of ways that they can win the White House, and they can win it without Ohio, believe it or not. It's insanely hard and probably impossible, but they could probably do it without Ohio. I mean, they could do it, but I mean, it would be easier to win Ohio. So the most important state is going to be Florida, no matter what. That keeps them alive. Then I would say that they would need to win Virginia, and then they would need to win Ohio. After that, they can just win one of those four, but they have to win one. And I would say that given that how they performed in the 2014 Senate races, even though this is not a translation to the 2016 election, let's just say hypothetically they win both, because they did well in the Senate races. They captured both Senate seats in an epic fashion, so they would win the presidency with 281, whoever the Republican nominee is. But suppose that suppose it's election night and Democrats they say they win Ohio. Well, they're at 265 now. They can win New Hampshire and they can tie it, and then they'll have to go to the House, which would probably vote Republican, because the House will go Republican in 2016. That's a projection I can make right now, because there's not enough committed. The seats aren't there for Democrats. So, but if Democrats were to win Ohio, Republicans would need to win everything else to ensure that there isn't a historic tie. So Ohio is going to be the second most important state. Then the third most important state I would say is Virginia, because then that brings the Democrat total to 260. And if they can win Ohio, that's it. If they win Florida, that's it. If they win Colorado, it's a tie. And if they win Nevada and another state, they're close. So again, Virginia will also be an important factor in helping the Republican enroll. And Republicans, for some reason, thought they were going to win Virginia. I knew that they weren't going to win it. And they almost came, they came close in 2013, 2014 to win it in statewide. They blew in the governor's races, and granted, the Senate race, to be fair, was never really competitive, at least to the RNC and the NRSC. Ed Gillespie almost won on election night. He lost by like 0.8%. So he came within like under a point of Mark Warner, who is now in his second term. So if Republicans really invest in Virginia this year, they might be able to win it. So Republicans would need to win Florida, Virginia, and Ohio. And given how well that they performed in Iowa recently and how they performed in Colorado recently, Colorado has been a mixed batch of results recently for 2014, because Republicans won the Senate there, but they lost and they won a lot of key statewide offices there, but they did not win the governorship. So that's kind of mixed results. So, and then Nevada, key Senate race going on. There's a key Senate race in Colorado going on also. In Nevada, Republicans won the governorship easily. And they actually won a congressional seat there. They gained a congressional seat. So, again, if they win that, if they win Colorado and Nevada, they can win the presidency. But they've been disappointed there recently. So we're going to go on to the next election. Assume that Nevada and Colorado will go Democratic and Iowa goes Democratic. Then these three states will be key to the Democratic victory. And they're almost there, and then Republicans need to win everything, and that puts a lot of pressure. And they haven't done too well in New Hampshire recently. They haven't won in a while. They lost both the Senate and governorship in statewide. They did gain congressional seat in 2014. They lost in 2012. They lost in 2008, but they did gain the Senate seat there in 2010. I mean, they protected the Senate seat there in 2010. So again, you can see that. Well, actually, let's see. What happens if all these states go Republican? They're only at 225, but they have to, again, they have to win Florida, and so you can see Democrats start off with an advantage. They just do. Actually, hold on. So if they win all these, and we're assuming that for the sake of purposes, all sakes and purposes, that they win North Carolina. They're only 227. They would still need to win Florida. So I would say probably the next for the fourth most important state. It's a tie between all these three. I think maybe Colorado comes out fourth, Nevada and Iowa are tied for fifth, and New Hampshire's the least most important state, if that makes sense. So again, Democrats will have an easier time winning the White House than Republicans would, but again, the election's over a year away. 100 bajillion things are going to change, and when they change, I'll let you know. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.